are rumors circulating around Benjamin Netanyahu, who, if you do not know, is the prime minister of Israel. And as you know, the United States and Israel are in the middle of a conflict in Iran that seems to be going not very good. There's a lot of things coming out about this war. One of Trump's, I forgot what this guy, he was the head of something, but he was previously, or he is, a Trump supporter. He resigned and said that the war is unnecessary and he doesn't want to see lives lost over this. So there is a lot going on when it comes to that. And a lot of people believe that this is a distraction from the e-files being dropped and the things that people were discovering in them and what the media really could not ignore that was unfolding on social media. A lot of people believe that Trump decided to enter America into this war to get the focus off of that conversation, but there are also conversations about this being a larger part of a bigger picture to lead America down, not just America, but lead the world around some form of a reset and ushering in events that many people believe are apocalyptic, prophetic. I mean, it is a lot. And if you are like me and you are following it or trying your best to follow it and still do the things that need to be done, it is truly a struggle. We got to do our best to keep up. We don't need to be caught slipping in any form or fashion. And not to like fearmonger, I just mean that we need to be aware. We need to be ready so that we can prepare, especially those of us who are parents. So that is why I like to talk about these types of things over celebrity news or gossip and stuff like that. So if you are here, there is going to be much more of this in many other areas of interest. That being said, there's a lot happening with this Iran war. I think that this story is interesting and very important to a larger conversation. Netanyahu is, like I mentioned, the prime minister of Israel. He calls the shots. If you follow politics in any way, casually, or like you're on it, you know how much influence he has on the American government, especially Donald Trump. A lot of people are not feeling this war. They are speaking out about it. They are staying on top of it. And people are saying that this man could possibly be deceased. And when I saw that, I'm like, ain't no way. I can't believe that. It was really hard for me to believe that they had taken out Iran's leader. To hear rumors about this man and no like formal announcement, it just kind of sent my radar up. So before we go too deep off into it, I want to share a couple of videos just so that we can be on the same page. You can know what I know and see what I've seen and have an opportunity to go watch the videos in full. The videos that I'm showing will be in the description box. As a matter of fact, everything that I use is going to be in the description box. But that's also another reason why you should join me on Patreon, because I list them there as well and provide the downloads if it's a PDF or whatever. Let's get into this video by Kim and then we'll talk some more.
That is what a lot of people are wondering after a series of looks like AI generated videos were released after speculation that Bibi was dead. These are basically proof of life videos that the government of Israel has been releasing. The Prime Minister's office itself has been releasing these videos. We're going to go over those videos and point by point break down what is suspicious in each of them. But let's talk about what led to the speculation to begin with. So essentially, it was reported by the Iranians that they had killed or at least struck Bibi Netanyahu, so Benjamin Netanyahu, as well as there was reports that his brother, Ido, had also been killed, that basically they had struck the family home or Netanyahu's office. And in that strike, Netanyahu himself was taken out, either wounded or...
So let me add, like, I haven't seen the source that she's talking about, but she's saying that these reports or this conversation, the whole reason it's even happening is because reports allegedly have come out of Iran saying that they attacked his home. The media has not covered that I have seen.
Killed, that his brother was also wounded or killed. They'd also reported that the head of Mossad, David Barnea, was also killed. They've also reported that Ben Gvir was also, he's the Minister of National Security, that he was also taken out, and Tomar Bar, the Air Force commander. These rumors started circulating after the Iranians said, yep, we took them out. And we also hear from the Israelis, all of the people that they claim to take out on the Iranian side and with Hamas and all of these. And so the Iranians were doing the same thing. But of course, the Israelis adamantly claimed that this was not true. The only problem was we weren't really seeing Netanyahu. We weren't really getting, I mean, he would kind of disappeared. And so then the question was, well, if he's alive and if they're lying, then show us he's alive. And we started getting a little bit of trickling of maybe some reports that Netanyahu was doing things, but he hasn't been seen by the public in the same way that he's always been seen previously. So
I don't follow him. I don't follow any page of his. I don't follow news from that country specifically. I only watch a video here or there if I'm interested in, that other creators are putting out. So I don't know how much he is normally seen or not to be able to say it's weird, because there are a lot of politicians that you don't see out publicly all the time. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're no longer here. So I really can't speak to that, but that's what the chatter is.
Do like televised addresses, press conferences from secure locations, in-person visits to military bases and troops, official photos, statements. There would be a lot of in-person with him and a lot of other people, but usually having to do with the military and building up morale or the security situation, not him out sipping coffee.
The video that Israel put out was not the typical video that they normally share of him. So they're not seeing him. Their people are not accustomed to seeing him, especially not during war, in these very casual videos. It's completely different from what the typical post of him or involving him has been. It is a video of him at a coffee shop. And even when I saw it, I thought that was strange, because I've never seen him in any capacity other than like a press conference or an interview or, that type of thing. Never something like going to a coffee shop. But again, I don't follow him, so I don't know if that's normal or not. That's just how I was perceiving it.
These are the types of things that we did not see during the war with this onslaught of the Palestinians, and also we did not see this during the 12-day war. This type of, I'm just chilling, having coffee and chatting with some girls outside. So it's all very bizarre. What led to the speculation is that Iran says, we got him. People started to notice that they hadn't really seen Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, the last time that we did really see him truly was March 2nd. Netanyahu had visited the site of a Iranian ballistic missile strike in Bet Shemesh, which is just west of Jerusalem. And the strike killed about 6 to 9 civilians.
March 2nd was a little over 2 weeks ago. But I want to stop it here because the story is the story now. The story is important, but I wanted to talk more about what people are saying now that these videos have dropped. And I want to go to James Lee because he brought up some very interesting points as well. His video kind of focused more on what I want to focus on, and that is that it's looking like the videos that they shared of him are AI, which is deepening this mystery around what's actually going on with him with all of these different things circulating. I'm going to go to James's video now. Let's just take a look at this so that we can be on the same page, because AI is a problem. I have such a conflicting relationship with AI. I really do. I am so conflicted on it because I feel like as we use it, of course, it's already like embedded into so much that we do, from internet stuff to just going to a restaurant and there's some form of AI there, or the doctor or whatever. Like, it's embedded within society. To me, even though it's not different in one way, in other ways, that is different from actually using it. I feel very guilty when I use AI because I'm like, this thing is not good. For any good that it could bring, the bad completely outweighs it. That we could just do things in a more efficient way than we've been doing it, make some actual real transformational improvements and go from there. At least make that effort. Let's not just give it all away to AI. But that's a whole different conversation. I want to talk about if these allegations of these videos being AI is true, then there's a much more consequential conversation to be had here. But I want you to see these videos and judge for yourself because they do look like AI to me. And that kind of gives me the creeps when I think about it too much. Like, also, before I go to that, I know I'm chatting, but I just have so much to say. But I want you to look at it and judge for yourself.
Holy shit, it does kind of look like his ring disappears right there. All right, let's talk about it. Is Benjamin Netanyahu no?
So I'm going to fast forward because he did show a photo that proved to be AI, and I just really don't want to show it. But there was a photo floating around of him allegedly being pulled out of rubble by Iranian soldiers. Turned out that that photo was AI. It looked AI to me. So then it made me think like, okay, well, is the Iranian side playing game? Because who would create this? Why would this be created? I knew that that was AI, but that's what he's talking about. And I'm going to just fast forwarded to another video.
Yahoo's official X account in which he said, quote, yesterday at the press conference, I stood by the clear objectives of the campaign, striking the terrorist regime of Iran, continuing the fight against its proxies and ensuring Israel's security and future, yada, 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 you know, whatever, Israeli propaganda. But people freeze frame the video and it looks like he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fingers on his.
So if you look, I know this is small, but if you look here, you do see 6 fingers. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the thumb. So that is most definitely there. And at first, I thought that this was 6 fingers, but it very well could be that it's just this part of his hand, like the angle. It could, but it does the proportion or the length of the fingers would then be the next question to be able to like confidently say that that's what it was. But it does kind of look like 6 total digits. But the thing that really stood out to me was the curtain. So the curtains looked like they were moving, which if he was indoors, unless you have a fan on, the curtain shouldn't be moving. And if you did have a fan on that was blowing hard enough for the curtains to move, then surely your hair would move a little bit, maybe. I don't know, unless you had it gelled down. But those are just some things that I noticed, but I'm gonna go ahead and play it.
Kind of weird. Grok is saying that amid Israel-Iran escalations in early March 2026, Iranian state media first amplified these unverified claims, death claims, following a missile exchange with Netanyahu's office and fact checkers like Snopes.
So it came from Iranian state media, basically their version of the FBI or the CIA. Some government-run media shared that basically they had handled him. The thing that stands out is that this video is being debunked. It's not AI. I want to just go to the next video because one of the things that stood out about the next video was that it was his ring. And also just it being odd that he would be in a coffee shop.
מה שאלת אותי?
ראש הממשלה אומרים ברשת שאתה בכלל מת?
אני מת על קפה, אתה יודע מה? אני מת על העם שלי. איך הם מתנהגים, פנטסטי. אתה רוצה לספור את מספר אצבעות?
אתה יכול להראות לנו?
פה. פה. ראית?
יפה מאוד.
לחיים.
ראש הממשלה מסר לאנשים ש...
So one, I've never seen him being this nice in any video or being this personable. I would like to note about this one is that you hear that a telltale sign of an AI video is when the subject of the video eats or drinks. And I thought it was interesting that they would show or put out a video of him drinking, because that would make it look like it was even more real. People would say, well, if it was AI, he wouldn't have drunk anything. You know what I'm saying? That type of like reverse tactic there. Whatever he's saying is also like a play on or a joke about the death rumors. Let's go to Savvy Stab's video, because the US media is not really doing any investigation. This is another reason why people go to social media more than they do mainstream media. But instead of actually investigating these claims, the media is putting out news that this conversation is happening, as if we can't all see it with our own eyes. Maybe there are some who are not tapped in to know because they aren't following this particular situation, or they're not following these particular creators, but it's spreading and they're telling you it's spreading, but they're not saying we have a reporter looking into this or we reached out to so-and-so for comment. They're just telling you what you already know and putting their spin on it. In this case of this NBC News article that I'm going to show, their spin is that it was debunked. I'm going to read a little bit of this article. It was written by Angela Yang and published this morning. It reads, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has become the subject of a widely debunked but ongoing claim that he is dead, a particularly high-profile example of the clouded and exceedingly fraught information environment created by the mix of AI and social media. So they are saying these claims have been widely debunked. Now, I don't know by who they've been debunked, because most people are just getting messages in their social media feeds when they ask AI, you know, and this, you could trace this tactic back to COVID. COVID was the test for a lot of things, because we have not even covered all of the fallout from that because it's being buried so much. But I digress. My point is, you want to, part of being media literate, which is a platform that I am going to introduce on my channel. I am really big on understanding the media, studying it, so you will not be deceived. Okay, first and foremost, and understand that when I'm saying deceived, I don't mean politically, I mean on a spiritual level, because at the end of the day, everything that we see happening is spiritual, whether you want to believe it or not, whether you can accept it or not. It is spiritual before it is anything else. And I ain't telling you what I think, I'm telling you what I know. Those of you who get it, you get it. And if you don't, I am urging you to think about what we are seeing from a different point of view, because none of it makes sense to us. Right? None of this makes sense, but yet it's still happening. So that lets you know that there is something deeper going on. But anyway, you see here, this news article is saying that it is widely debunked. I don't think something can be widely debunked if it's not widely discussed. You got to discuss it first on a wide scale for it to be debunked. But when you look up articles on this topic, this was just written today. When you look up articles on it, it's just telling you that this conversation is happening. We don't see any experts analyzing the video. We don't see none of that. So has it really been debunked? You want to throw in that this environment is caused by AI and social media, but it also is caused by censorship, political agenda. So there's a lot going on with this that you can't just say that this has been debunked. One, you have not done I haven't seen an AI expert break this down. If you have, let me know in the comments. If you are an AI expert and can identify whether or not a video is really AI, let us know in the comments. But my point here is we should also question the media. We can't just take what the media says at face value. And it's not about Republicans versus Democrats, because they're all on the same agenda. Hence, this coverage, but they'll tell you that people are so against it, but when you could actually touch on something that would be consequential, you don't, and then you say it's something else. So people are playing both sides with this. Social media users began to speculate about the Israeli leader's well-being after footage of a recent televised address began circulating online last week, in which Netanyahu gave an update on the war in Iran. Now, we haven't seen this one yet. The one that they're talking about, We haven't seen this one yet. But in that video, you see Netanyahu basically at a round table. I want you to see it. So let me get her video pulled up.
Because we still don't know if Benjamin Netanyahu live. They keep releasing videos and photos, right, of Benjamin Netanyahu, but you can check and see if it's real or not. In this video that was released today, he's talking about like that they killed some of the people in this one, but he says, I'm here with the Israel defense minister and chief of staff, right? But then I'm gonna show you what comes up when you search this. Watch this.
I'm here with Israel's defense minister, our chief of staff, the head of the Mossad, the chief of Air Force, our senior commanders. In the past 24 hours, we knocked out 2 of the terrorist chieftains, the top terrorist chieftains of this tyranny. Our aircraft are hitting the terror operatives on the ground, in the crossroads, in the city squares. This is meant to enable the brave people of Iran to celebrate the Festival of Fire. So celebrate and Happy Nowruz. We're watching from above.
So one thing that stood out to me about that video is that he doesn't mention their names. I thought that was important. But then this guy, the savior, he said, this is getting ridiculous at this point. You can take these images and insert them and check them, right? When is this image from?
I stand corrected. I thought that Grok did that. So apparently he may have done this elsewhere outside of X.
It's from an Israeli war cabinet meeting held on October 23rd, 2023 at the Kiryat military headquarters in Tel Aviv. The photo depicts a high-level security assessment and press briefing shortly after the formation of the emergency unit government following the October 7 attacks. This was released on Benjamin Netanyahu's account today. This video was released today, March 17th.
So this kind of like makes me think about, I tell people this all the time, like, is you can admit that we are in some sort of awakening. Knowledge has increased so much over the last decade. Honestly, it has. It has increased a lot since I had my awakening, if you want to call it that my spiritual journey that opened my eyes to what's really going on. Even since then, I've just seen the knowledge increase because things that people were talking about way back when are starting to happen now. It is unfolding. And if you read or study the Bible, then the Bible talks about things that are happening now that we see, that there would be a great falling away. We see a pattern when it involves Israel of coming into who they are. And if you catch my drift, you know what I mean when I say that's happening. We're seeing things even that the Bible spoke about. So there's a lot to take in, okay? I just want to say, like, as we're watching it, because I have to do this and remember this too, like, we got to stay in our word. We got to stay prayed up. We got to fill our minds with good things to counter all of this crazy stuff that we're seeing. Because if we don't, it'll have us down bad. I've been there and I ain't trying to go there again. I will stop talking about this stuff online before I let myself go back there. Okay, if you know, you know. But we just gotta cover ourselves while we are taking this in. But basically, we're seeing just this awakening happening where folks are starting to see the truth. And I always said that when this starts to happen, like as it's happening, as conversations are ramping up, now you can't get online without somebody talking about witchcraft or the elites or secret societies or this and this. Just all of this scandalous stuff is now common to be in a conversation. Whereas 5-6 years ago, the average person was not talking about this stuff. So that should let you know something. The conspiracy theories are becoming more credible and the conversation is spreading. But now you got to ask yourself, are they still conspiracies? And that brings me to a theory that I have. I believe, honestly, because I keep thinking about how are spiritual events and stuff supposed to unfold? Like, it's not just gonna happen instantly. It has to happen over time, because the Bible just gives us all these indications that life is going to be going on as normal. People are going to be dancing and drinking. So that tells you that the signs have to be spread out and maybe not so obvious. And I believe that as we start to make these things more known, Satan knows that his time is short. So he'll pull the internet off. They'll cut us off from the internet before some of these things get exposed. And I'm bringing it up because I know it seems like I went around the world, but when it comes to this situation, the reason why we can even be having this talk is because of the internet. Now we have receipts. When something is posted, we can pull it, we can download it, we can screenshot things, we can go access websites that keep archives and things that have been like, you can't, when something is created, there's always, the original is always going to exist. And no matter how much you replicate it, alter it, change it, whatever. And that's a word for Black folks. The original is always going to exist. So all these counterfeit things, that is what the devil does. So AI is just an example of that. Like, yes, y'all clearly, this thing, the fact checked it and said, oh, this came from 2023. Or not 2023, but sometime in October. But yet they're telling you today that there was a meeting that he had. And the only reason we can even see that is because of the internet. So why wouldn't they cut off the internet? So this is just something that's just been on my spirit, to get hard copies of things, to get all the hard copies you can get, pictures, books, print your PDFs, get a hard drive, back up files, because I just don't see them letting this get any more, keep continuing to get big and totally ignoring it, by the way, or debunking it. At some point, we got to start getting some answers, or you got to take the situation for what it's looking like. That's all I'm saying. So we're seeing that, and I'll put this video in the description box if you want to go watch it in its entirety. But basically, they're putting out stuff that it may not even be real. So that brings me to my conversation about AI. You really can't even believe your eyes anymore. You can't believe what you are seeing anymore. And you cannot rely on the media to tell you that what you're seeing is not real, not if it fits the agenda that they are supposed to push. And that's why I mentioned, if you are new here, these are some of the things that I will be getting into in my content. I found an archive of the Black Panthers newspapers. And if you know me in the slightest, if you've watched any of my political or Black community related videos, y'all know I love my community. And part of my love for my community, it grew during the pandemic, is because God took me on this journey that really just kind of brought a lot of things home to me. He made so many things clear that I've just thought and felt my entire life. And so I want to talk about the Black community specifically in my content, and looking at how what we're facing, we continue to see things. It's the same plays. Like, we have document after document after document to prove that the way that we've gone about handling our issues is not working. And we got to open our eyes to things bigger than what stuff looked like at face value. And so this is just one of those things, and why archiving history, knowing history, is important. Because if you can't believe what you see, then you're only going to be able to rely on what you have physically in front of you to prove it. Receipts. We are in the era of receipts. So you need to be getting your receipts on what's going on in the world, because I just believe they'll turn the internet off before they see we see a full redaction of the JE files. I'm surprised that they even have it to begin with, to be honest. But you gotta know that they don't want this stuff to be seen. And if they're gonna suppress it, how do we just go back acting like everything is normal? How do we not try to advocate for some type of legislation protecting us and our children from AI? Whether it's economically, with finances, job availability, or hell, even if it's physically. They got robot cops, which they do have in China. I saw the video. That's something I want to talk about too. AI, the way that it has just been allowed to be like the wild, wild west and everybody get what you can get free for all, that has to be for a reason. And I think it's to desensitize us, to confuse us, but also to get our submission into whatever direction that it goes. That's why I have a conflict about it. But we can't believe our eyes anymore. And this situation also makes me think about, if you can remember when this conversation was happening around Princess Kate, people were asking, where is this woman? We ain't seen her. Y'all didn't even wish her a happy birthday on the official Twitter account. We getting rumors that an ambulance was seen driving away from the place. The kids ain't been seen, or we saw the kids, we didn't see her, or there was a woman with William, but it didn't really look like. There was a whole thing, and they came out with a video that was clearly AI. So what does this mean when your news want to investigate it and they're just saying, oh, it was debunked, it's misinformation, they say he's alive, they're the official people? But what if they're lying? Don't we deserve to know the truth, since this is affecting our life? It's like the government has just become so powerful, and we have forgotten that they are supposed to work for us. They've become celebrities and big political figures that just are above critique if they're on the same side that you want them to be on, or if they're on the same side as you, even though they might be terrible individuals. Like, we got some real issues here. And, not to just get all sinister and get all just, down in the dumps. This really is to motivate us to just think about this differently and what impact can we make. So there are a couple things that's going on here. He could be deceased. All this could be true, and they want to keep it under wraps for whatever reason. And the reason is really even questionable. Why would you want to keep that under wraps? Because what else are you plotting? Or what would happen if people knew that he was? But then he could be alive. Some people think that he's alive and that he has fled and he's out, living incognito, or he's in hiding, but we don't know. And it's an uncomfortable place to be in as someone who is following this story and just following this political issue. But this is where we are, and I just wonder, what do we do? Like, how do we just sit and allow things to happen and people to make decisions about our lives that's going to affect us and affect our children in ways we can't even comprehend? Remember, everything is a prediction. You can't say with certainty what's going to happen or what's not going to happen. We're not God. We don't control every single thing. So we don't know how this is going to pan out, but we can't I just don't like the feeling of helplessness. Like, I'm not in control of my own destiny when it comes to other human beings. I'm not talking about with God. I'm talking about with other human beings. Everybody on this earth is a human being like me. So what gives you more right, or the right to make decisions about the whole world, as if what we say in our own life don't matter? That's where I'm at with it. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think about this story. I have talked an hour about this. Oh my gosh, that is insane. This is going to be the biggest video file ever. But thank you for watching this video clip. Click the link in the description box or in the comment section to watch the full video, and be sure to subscribe for more.